Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Doug, and once again, of course, we are talking fitted caps today. And I was lucky enough to have Tom Ripley, the CEO of the Lid Sports Group, once again on the channel for a return appearance after about a 5-month interval. And we covered a wide range of topics, really starting with the big new collections that Lids has launched in store and online, but also future directions for Lids itself, some things that are going on with the stores, other collections and connections that they have to headwear manufacturers. And I would go ahead and present it right now and just let you know that it has been edited for time, and I will let you just take a look and listen to hear what Tom had to say. And then I'll be back with some closing thoughts after presenting the interview. So go ahead, take a look. We'll see you shortly. All right, it is my honor to welcome once again Tom Ripley back onto the channel, who was back here in October of 2020. Now he's joining us in March of 2021. And I'm looking forward to hearing about all the great things going on with Lids. Tom, welcome.
Hey, Doug. Good to see you again.
Good to have you again. One of the things I wanted to start with is I got a really great package, a care package, if you will, from Lids last week, and I'm wearing one of the items that was contained with that great Tigers cap with the 1945 side patch on it. We talked last time, and this trend of side patches and undervisors was obviously exploding. Really interesting to see, even within the past couple of weeks, of how boldly Lids has moved into that market. So I was hoping you could talk and tell us a little bit about that, of how you've taken that step and what you're excited about.
Sure. So first of all, it's great to see you. Great to be back on the channel. It's hard to believe it was October when we last talked. So much has happened. So much has changed. We've gone through the holiday season. It's been kind of a wild ride. But one of the things that started to percolate when we last talked was this idea of limited specialty drops. And we've gone kind of jumped right into the deep end. The colored undervisor, as you're wearing, we're thrilled you got the package. We've had lines outside of our stores pretty much every day the past week. It's been remarkable, the response to the marketplace and the fitted community. Lids is the home of the fitted. We take great pride in having fitted headwear in our stores. The colored undervisor program has been an absolute bomb in our stores. It's been wildly well received. We ordered 125,000 colored undervisors in our first order. We're out, basically. And that's in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We will have 600,000 coming in June. There's been a big pivot over to specialty drops. And so I think one of the things it's taken about 6 months to get it running, but you'll see a specialty drop pretty much every month now, maybe a couple a month, particularly in the summer. 35 to 50,000 units per drop, and they'll be available in Lids and online for people who may not be close to a store. But specialty color undervisors, maybe you got burnt sienna Texas colors on a pro hat, some color inversion between college and pro. You've got side patch drops that'll happen, particularly this summer. There is a stout lineup of specialty drops that are in front of us pretty much on a monthly cadence for the balance of the year.
It's always great to see different takes, and one of the reasons I love fitted caps is to see the different designs. Now there's certain ones that I can't pull off, like some people can, but I love to see the variety, and it's certainly where the market has been heading. And I think that back when we talked in October, I was thinking that with the kind of muscle and reach that Lids has, it seemed as though it was only a matter of time before you entered this space.
The challenge for Lids is we certainly have a lot of influence and size, but to be able to do it in a way where we don't wash the market, right? So there's nothing special about 1 in a million, or you own one of a million versions of it out there. And so we want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. I hope that we're going to have a couple of announcements in the next few weeks that will hopefully speak to our approach here, trying to be, very grassroots, in touch with that hardcore fitted customer and really trying to curate a collection that is going to be special, different, right? And that's we're working hard on that.
I was pleased to see that when I received this cap, which of course was the MLB Gray Anniversary Collection, I believe it was called, I actually found another one online. So I had one in the care package and could not resist buying a California Angels early 70s throwback logo, which was also a nice application to the gray and the red A. All the time on my channel, of course, I get the inquiries regarding in-store versus online purchases. You'll have a number of these in-store, but a number of the collections will also be available online, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, you can get the Colored Undervisor online right now. And so it's the challenge is we just can't pace with the demand. Never in our wildest dreams did we think that 125,000 hats wouldn't be enough. Look, the reality of it is we're stocking out, and that's okay, right? We'll order more. When we order more, we probably won't do exactly the same. We'll make adjustments and tweaks to things to, again, try to make sure that we've got that curated collection.
I've had an ongoing dialogue with my viewers about spring training, and a lot of fitted cap fans, of course, look for the spring training drop every year, and it's kind of another sign that baseball's back, and you get usually a fresh take on designs for those batting practice spring training caps. And so it was a big letdown this year. And I think that part of this release that you have right now is creating some additional excitement in that void of having a good spring training release. So I think that's good. But it kind of made me think, and a couple of viewers asked the question of, with Lid's power and influence that I presume to have with your retail footprint, do you ever get a chance to really influence the collections that New Era puts out? Obviously, the exclusives are there, but do you get a chance to influence that with some of the design inputs?
Yeah, the answer is absolutely. So, look, you want to circle back to the spring training and batting practice. They're the same as last year. You feel like you're offering the obligatory excuse that everybody gets. Why can't you get stuff done normally? Well, it's COVID, right? It's COVID. It's shut everything down. We had every one of our stores closed from March until May, late May. Most stores, frankly, March until June. And the same thing happened in New Era, and the same thing happened at 47. Those guys all shut down their operations. And what that means is a year later, whatever was going to be produced that 1 year later is impacted. And so in this case, the casualties were batting practice and spring training. That said, last year's hats were very, very popular, some of the most popular we've ever had. So, we still have those available. To answer your direct question, do we ever influence? I would push the position that we probably influence New Era more than anybody. In fact, I would say that they are influenced by us is probably the proper way to phrase it. I'll give you a couple of key examples. The retro caps that have been released are a direct, it was an idea generated in Indianapolis at Lids. The logo elements hats for the NFL, which is one of the New Era's most popular spins. The NFL is a very stodgy league, and they don't like their logos messed with. And so to be able to convince that league to allow a team to adjust their logo and lift elements out and make those into a hat, that was designed by Nate Taylor at Lids. He came up with the idea. And certainly New Era took it to their design team and expanded on it and did a full iteration and then did a second iteration. But that idea started in Nate Taylor's head. And then that idea goes to the City Edition MLB, where you see the Phillies with the bell fractured inside of the Phillies P. That idea is a spinoff of the logo elements idea and the Nike City Edition jersey in the NBA. So I would tell you that when you buy as many hats as we do, and we tend to be highly, highly in touch with our customers because of our brick and mortar, like there's no customer interaction in e-commerce, right? There's no face-to-face that genuine interaction. That happens every day across North America in the lid stores. And we're hearing from them, hey, I don't like the way this hat fits. I need to exchange this. A hat is it's something that has to be tried on. I like a soft-sided hat, especially for the Washington Nationals. And so there's just a fit and feel there. And so I think New Era relies heavily on our relationship. We have a relationship with them at the very highest level, and it's a great collaboration. It's a true partnership. And same is true for 47 and Mitchell and Ness. And so it's been a great one, and I would say it's a very influential one.
That's good to hear, because I, along with a number of my viewers, think about even recent times, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where we used to see a very broad and expansive collection, such as the Ultimate Patch Collection World Series Edition, where I remember you could get a World Series Cardinals cap for every year that they won it. So, and it feels like with these steps that you've made just recently with these exclusives, the Undervisor collection, this cap that I'm wearing, that it's kind of returning and kind of ramping back up to where you offer exclusives like that again. And so it's really good to see, because that was one of the things that I lamented a little bit when the transition with the lids first happened. But it feels like you're getting your form back, I guess.
I think that there's two things going on. One is we're getting to understand the customer. That takes time, right? And so I wasn't born in the hat industry. And so it's taken time to understand what really drives those customers. I think people should take note. We're listening, right? We're trying to improve. We're trying to I can't tell you how many letters from 15-year-olds I answer that are asking for a hat in a certain size that can't fit, and so we are really working hard to engage and listen. And that takes some time, right? That said, I do think Lids has made a massive investment in fitted headwear, bringing up our inventory, and in every single one of our stores, regardless of where you are in the United States, you can go into a lid store and find a fitted hat in every authentic on-field collection, 5950 for every team in the MLB. And that is a 8-figure commitment, right? And so, but it's something that if we're going to stand for something, we have to be ready to do that. The other big part of it is because we are so close to the major manufacturers, and we have so many locations, we saw this trend coming before anybody, right? And so we were able to step up fitted collection. We've seen a 55% growth year over year in the fitted headwear space. That's a gigantic number, right?
That's amazing. Yeah.
The good news is we're prepared for it, right? We were ready. We knew it was coming, and we've just been kind of in the right position.
Oh, that's great. And since we last talked, I got to see a somewhat local store on its way to a transformation into a Lids 3.0. It seemed cleaner visually, and more well organized, and there was clearly a fitted cap area. And it seems like that store is on the way, and I know that you are committed to refreshing a lot of the stores towards that 3.0 model. There was one time we talked a little while ago, and you talked about the balance of inventory in Indianapolis versus the balance of inventory that was actually physically at your stores. And you told me at that time that there was a huge transformation even in that, to get more fitteds in front of more people. So
we have pushed, as the stat that I gave you last time was, we have 40% less inventory in our distribution center than we did when we acquired the business. And we've pushed it to the stores because that's where it belongs, without cluttering the store. So you could think, if we just started pushing garbage to the stores, it would look like your grandmother's attic. Nobody wants that. I don't want that. No customer wants that. So there's been a keen focus on delivering the right inventory to stores so that customers can see it. Just to clarify, a 3.0 is taking your traditional lids and ringing the top with either throwback jerseys, the hardwood classics, or city edition jerseys. That will happen. That makes it a 3.0. But the other thing that we're going to do this year, so we'll do 200 more of those in addition, and it'll be pretty surprising when it happens. I think it's going to be fat. I'd love to talk to you after the transformation. But over the course of this year, we're going to take every one of the point of sales out of our store, and we're going to go to a small cube and a handheld PDA. What we don't want is an associate standing behind one counter and you standing on the other and have this grocery store type checkout experience. Our associates are hat heads to the nth degree. They're sports junkies, they're fitted hat heads, and they love the headwear space. We want them to engage with our customers, and so we're going to get rid of the point of sale, give them a handheld point of sale that they wear on a sling or something, and let them work the store and be around and constantly be mobile. That's going to create more space for four-ways for more hats, maybe a table for a specialty collection. If we, as we start to do some of these limited drops, those can find a place in the middle of that space, but just trying to utilize that space a little bit better. We're not going to become an Apple store. That's not where this is going. It's just going to become more movable space is what the intent is. And that should happen over the course of the next year. The truth is our point of sales are ancient. They're massive machines. And so we need to upgrade those anyway. And so this is a good opportunity to make that switch.
That sounds like a much better experience to hear you describe that. The funny thing is right up until the point where you said we're not going to be an Apple store, that was the immediate analogy I was thinking of.
Of course.
And in my local mall here in the 616, of course, the Lids, which is very small by Lid standards, it's a very small store, but it happens to be directly across from a very large Apple store. And for something like hats, I can see where that would be very beneficial because, it just feels like you got this bench, this massive bench that's kind of crammed into the corner, and there's always transitional items sitting on top of the counter. So it sounds like a much better experience to me. But no, that's good to hear. The one other thing I wanted to talk about today was the Access Pass. And I'm still a fan of it, especially if you're collecting on fields, and it's probably the best loyalty program in the industry. I'm wondering, are you still committed to the Access Pass? The Lids loyalty, because I think that has been the benchmark for many years. And I've seen some of the comments on Instagram with the latest collections. You can't exactly use the Access Pass with some of these hot ones. I think I understand from your answers on how fast you've gone through the inventory and why that is. But I'm just wondering, your commitment to the loyal customers that have supported Lids through this transitional period. Are you still committed to the Access Pass and some other things like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're definitely committed to the Access Pass. We've actually had a bit of a balloon in the growth of that over the past year. Part of that's because of people can't get into stores, so they still want to buy their headwear, they still want to get a discount, and so they have the ability to access it there. But I'll do one better, and I'm probably going to get myself in trouble by saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm the boss. We will do one of the monthly drops this year. We'll do just to Access Pass members. We'll send an advanced notification out to them with an image of the hat, the description of it, so they know what it is in advance of everybody else. And that way they can get first run at it, and then we'll do the drop to the rest of the universe later and give them a first run at some product. So maybe I'll reach out to you and give you a little heads up on what that one's going to be. I got to talk to the powers that be, exactly which one they want to do. But that's a great opportunity to reward people that have, frankly, stuck with us through some difficult times. And candidly, it's the Access Pass members who reach out and say, hey, I had this experience. I really wish it was better. I'd like you guys to try to do this or that. Like, they care. And because they're, as we talked about in our last call, because they're willing to reach out to us and talk to us, you're going to find us go to great lengths to try to engage them. And so it's that exchange of ideas and that willingness to help us become the best version of us we can. That's a really valuable relationship. And so it's right that we reward them, and we'll do a couple limited drops to them, just to them.
I think that's great news, and I really appreciate you sharing that. I think there's a lot of my viewers that would very much appreciate that, because that was, it was a theme of some of the comments that I was getting on videos where I talked about Lids and the transition. And, I think that kind of demonstration of commitment would earn you a whole new set of recommitted fans and loyalists to do something like that. So that sounds great to me. You had a relaunch late last year of the custom Lids business, and I often get questions on my channel, my logo cap that I normally wear in my videos. A lot of people ask, hey, how did you make that? And, it was a while ago. I actually had Lids digitize the artwork and do that, but just went through another experience with custom lids after you refreshed it. I was just curious with you how the relaunch is going and what you're excited about with the custom lids business as well.
Yeah. So I'm gonna switch hats to one of mine. I'm a cyclist, and so my friends and I have a little bike club, and so this is one of the hats that we did for that club.
Nice.
The custom lids business has been a fascinating experience. So our first step, and probably our best step, was we went out and found one of the very best associates at customization. Convinced him, compelled him to come back to Indianapolis and help us really rebirth this thing. It had been lost, had really lost its way. And the customization business, as we talked last time, those associates who are exceptional at it, they're like tattoo artists. They know exactly how to do the very unique and difficult embroideries and patches and without disforming the hat. They're exceptional at that stuff. And so Aaron Stenzel is the person we brought back, and he's really transformed the business. So yesterday we had our largest day online ever. Not large individual, but a bunch of small orders. And look, a hat's a really personal thing. It fits people differently. We've talked about this in the past in prior videos. Only in a place where you're truly going to customize it do you get that one unique experience. That's what your hat, I've seen the second version of your hat, by the way, it looks fantastic. That's where those, I don't like this, I do want that, a little larger here, a little smaller there. You only get that through a custom experience. Yes, the hat's expensive, but we went on a bike trip, a dozen of us, and I wanted everybody to have hats. I'm a hat guy, and so I have to have hats when I show up to events. And so it was a great opportunity for me to do a fun little gift for a group of people. And we're now on our fourth or fifth trip, and people keep asking, hey, what's the hat going to look like this year? What's going to look like next year? And so we've got a little bit of a biker club going on, which has been pretty fun.
That's great. And yes, there was a particular part of that process that was, it almost feels like you're getting a concierge treatment when you're working on the thread colors, the embroidery, checking the samples to verify before you get the hats made. So I was actually pretty impressed with that process.
You just can't. This is not something that you can just automate. It's just too difficult, and frankly, that's not the experience we're looking for. We want to, for people who don't live close to a store, we want you to have the same experience that if you were able to walk into a store and pick a hat out, watch the person put it on a machine, and actually make the hat right there in front of you. And so that's our standard. Right? Just because we move it online doesn't mean we're going to depart from that standard. If you don't like the hat, if you want it different, you should have the opportunity to go back and forth with somebody on that. And so that's the objective we're trying to achieve. It's not easy, but just because it's not easy doesn't mean we should change our standards. We should stay to who we are.
I think we've kind of reached the end of the questions that I had for you today. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
Let's talk about one last thing. The fastest growing product at Lids is what we call local crowns. So local crowns is a state patch inspired. This is Hawaii. It's a Hawaii flag on a tuna. It's a state patch inspired hat, snapback, trucker style hat, and a soft sided hat as well. But it has been, it's the number 5 product. The first 4 products are fitted, so fear not, fitted fans. You still own the market, and you still own all of Lids' focus. But this has been a really fun project because you can do virtually any scenario here. So we've done the United States on a patch, kind of in a Carhartt tan brushed canvas look. You can do individual state colors. We'll do drops on those all throughout the year. We'll do an animal collection. We're going to do an outdoors collection. We have a city collection called Legends. There's a retro collection. So it should be a pretty fun experience and giving people different stuff to look at throughout the year.
Is that something on the standard Lids website, or
it is? It's good. And local crowns.
Okay.
a whole series of them coming out. So they're just kind of getting rolling. It's been out for maybe 6 months now, but they're in local stores, which it's been great. It's been a lot of fun to do. Okay. I live in Maryland. We've got a fantastic flag pattern in Maryland. So we're putting that thing on everything. So.
Yes. And I've seen that with a certain university from time to time too. So there you have it. I thought it was a great conversation with Tom, second time around, of course, and I thought he covered a lot of really valuable topics and also continued to demonstrate how he's still kind of moving into this role and really figuring out the customer and making a lot of moves, I think, to kind of rebuild the momentum that Lids had and maybe lost a little bit in the early part of the transition. So I know I've gotten a number of comments and questions from viewers on the last interview. I did try and fold some of those in, and hopefully that was evident in this interview with Tom, because I am trying to represent the viewpoint of my audience as well. And hopefully you found some value in that, and I would invite you to keep that up. Go ahead and post questions, comments, anything like that in this video. Because then I can then relay some of those things the next time I have him on the channel, which hopefully there will be a return appearance, as Tom mentioned during the interview. Maybe after we see some of these innovations with the lid stores or some more drops to Access Pass members, etc. So overall, I think there's a lot of good signs here. And I think in a lot of things that Tom said, you can sense the commitment to the fitted cap fan especially. So it was really good for me to hear that. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Go ahead and post comments, questions, etc. below. Those particularly with a constructive nature are most appreciated. And I will try and relay those to Tom next time around. So anyways, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.